Oh, I see how you are. I slave over a hot what's the best, and this is how you repay me? If you're gonna be like this, maybe next time I don't rewrite the script to add alliteration. How about that? Is that what you want? Anyways, if you enjoyed this video by the end and you aren't already subscribed, please consider it. And your likes! Please give. It's Legacy, Slag, and Sludge. You can't make me accept Hasbro's bullshit. If I did, this episode would be called Slug and Sludge, and that just sounds so bad and feels worse to say. Slag and Sludge just roll so well, and I will die on this hill. Anyways, these two pieces of shit are so awful, they're kinda great. I didn't know that there was such a thing as so bad it's good toys. But these two are a catastrophe on every level, and I just don't understand. Shouldn't these have more leeway than ever? In Power of the Primes, a toy line most people seem to hate, you had Battle Slash and Road Trap. They formed a two-man combiner team. Both had very minor compromises in vehicle mode, and basically none in robot mode or combined mode. They combined quick and easy, and they looked great. So what the fuck happened here? There are going to be 6 members to this combiner team. Each figure has to pull such a small amount of the load in becoming Volcanicus. But all of them, except for Swoop, are so cursed. In Dino mode, which on both of these guys is probably better than their robot modes, Slag looks like a desperately anorexic Triceratops, and Sludge is stuck perpetually popping a squat, and his little chode of a tail sticking out the back looks like a bit of the poo-poo that he's trying to take peeking out. Plus, this boy has a really big hole in the center of his chest. Oh, and Slag is significantly bigger. Not only is that sacrilegious to the Dinosaur, it's also not even a little accurate to the show. I cannot tell you how wrong this feels. At least their dino heads are tolerable. Slag really looks like himself, even if his lower jaw is miscolored, which I guess is them just being lazy and cheaping out on the paint, as there's no real other reason they can use to justify that change. But at least it's a little aesthetic. Sludge, on the other hand, has a gaping slit down his neck that kinda creeps me out. This is like a necromorph Bronto. Transformation on both these guys kinda sucks. Slag would be decent if it weren't for the parts forming, not good, but breezy enough. Sludge, however, is really clashy, and every step of it feels like when you take a deep breath to yawn, but then the yawn just doesn't happen. It's that kind of unpleasant, and I probably just gave you all PTSD. And you wind up with these two desecrations of the concept of robot modes. Once again, Slag is faring better. It's not good, but just shit. Slag has these tiny little baby arms that barely reach the tops of his hips. He's got these huge pegs jabbing him in his sides. His horns are gappy on the front where we can see them now. He's desperately hollow from behind. I'm actually cheating this to make it look more like the character because for some reason the prescribed robot mode does not have the wings out to its sides. He's got 2 giant gray nipples peeking around the miscolored dino jaw, and for some reason he's got a teeny toddler head plonked down on his shoulders. His face is literally a panel attached to a plate. There is no reason this had to be smaller than that plate. It could just fill up the whole section and it would have looked so much better for it. But no, we gotta do it like this because maybe it's to save on paint budget, because these two are cheaper than Sin but aren't cheap enough yet. Speaking of a Sin, oh my god, what happened to Sludge? None of this is okay. I am flabbergasted and I don't have any idea where to start. I think he's just got a scaled down 86 Sludge head. His arms are bracketed off his body like a full bicep length away. His wings are mounted on his arms, seemingly as a way to generate more gaps. He's wearing a sexy crop top to show off all those rippling gaps. And then he's got nipples on his back. He's got these giant saddlebags facing forwards off his hips that are his actual thighs, while he has false thighs that aren't actually connected to anything for some reason peeking out here, while the real ones are cantilevered into the shins, which very blatantly sit independent of the thighs below that with a monoskirt. Oh, and I forgot to mention that his real thighs have the mushroom pegs facing forward off the front of the character with even more gaps below that. Look how they massacred my boy! Why are the thighs floating pieces of kibble? They're like tumors jutting off the sides of his saddlebags. I have used the term heinous before, but I never truly meant it till this very moment. Or I did really mean it before, but this has raised the bar so high, it's like I never did. This is so upsetting it puts a smile on my face. Posability is Lovecraftian, because it is both terrible and beautiful in ways it doesn't have any right to be. Slag's head swivels and has a little up and down. Sludge's head only swivels. Slag's arms go all the way up. Sludge has like 30 degrees of movement in his arm total. But he has a forwards butterfly. No elbow or wrist on either. Both actually have waists, which I only tell you about because I didn't expect them. Slag's hips are honestly really good if you get the dino leg out of the way, and Sludge's hips are something out of a David Cronenberg movie. Maximum knees on Slag, and I have no idea how to qualify the knees on Sludge other than to say they bend a lot. And no feet on either of any kind, and it's kind of hard to get them to stand because of it. So, a lot of what they do is technically really good, while being extremely ugly, and they are missing several joints that are standard on almost all other figures. It's so bizarre. The result is figures that are technically pretty posable for what they are, but are also obscenely violent on your eyes no matter what you do. You just kind of feel pity for them. For some reason, Slag, the universally better figure so far, is also the only one who gets an accessory, and he gets two. He's got his tail, which can kind of be used like a tragically ugly gun, and that can break down into the head for Volcanicus and its chest piece. So, not a lot to write home about. But now it's time to combine the two, and this is actually harder than you think. There's a very specific order of operations, part of it is parts forming, and it won't go together if you do it out of order at all, and it's oddly confusing. It's not a ball ache or anything, but considering how much these cheat to achieve what they are, and how simple they are, it's just less straightforward than it should be. And the end result is a torso. Hold on. Okay, the end result is a torso with arms and legs. And I have to ask, why is this so goddamn stocky? This boy is wider than a meme. I desperately want to know how a combiner made up of 6 characters is barely bigger than a combiner made up of 2. That also looks way better, and let's be real here, is also going to pose way better. Battletrap has a great non-parts forming head with a normal swivel and tons of down. Shoulders go maximum. 90 elbows, no hands, ab crunch, waist swivel, hips are unimpeded in all directions, maximum knees, and advanced feet with movement in just about every direction. So I can tell you now that based on pictures of the completed combined mode, and from what I have in hand here, this isn't going to be anywhere near that advanced. Like based on what I have here, which only takes into account the actual Dinobots and not the Junkion parts forming head only swivels, he does still have a waist at least, and his hips are more impeded here than when they were just on the Sludge, but this isn't terrible in that regard. Outside that, I'd be willing to bet that the knees will only go a 90 on the completed Volcanicus, and I'm sure that it won't have any feet, but I don't have the confidence to speculate any further than that. And I just don't understand. How do you make a figure that is so much more recent, with so many more advancements in designs and techniques, and theoretically 3 times larger of a budget because it's being spread across 6 figures as opposed to 2, where each figure shouldn't have to work as hard to be good because each of them should be doing 1/3 the work in combining compared to the older set, and wind up with them being this much uglier, with each figure being this much more compromised in all its modes, with them being this much less posable, with the transformation being this much worse, and the combination being even worse than that still then has to cheat by parts forming, and is this fucking stupidly wide when it's all said and done. It is astonishing to me that Hasbro looked at this and said, yeah, we got a winner here, ship it. However, I'm thankful that they did, because honestly, this is charming in its suck. It is adorable how unreasonably bad this is. It feels like a figure that was designed by a 10-year-old. I look at this and just go, oh, what a good effort. The utter incompetence of this thing puts a little joy in my soul, and I can't say that even with it being so botched that this is only fun in an ironic sense. Sure, some of this needs to be enjoyed while pointing and laughing, but you know what? It holds together better than the Power of the Primes Volcanicus, and it honestly doesn't look more silly than that thing did. While it's dumb that Slag forms the torso and Grimlock will wind up the leg, this is still a charming little dude that kids will probably wind up enjoying more than me, but that I still enjoy for all the reasons that I should, and for some that I probably shouldn't. It's a dumb, ugly, terrible little troll of a thing, but it puts some sunshine in my soul. It is of a simpler mindset, one where you mash toys together in a sandbox because those are all you need, and there's no way I can hate it for that, even if these are total garbage. If you voted hate it in the poll today, I'll say that you were right, even though I don't. And that's not half what I have to say, but it's enough what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.